we seed product to celebrities on behalf of brands. And I think the brands are always in shock that, like, when we get a celebrity to do something for a brand and we pay them, they're like, wait, what? Why are they doing that for, X amount of money?
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
And you've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
I love it. I'm super excited for the metaverse. I have a couple Oculus headsets and things like that. I like playing in there a little bit.
I mean, look, again, we're not meeting right now. We're meeting on Zoom. We're talking digitally. This is a very basic form of the metaverse.
Well, and right now what we're working on, which is pretty cool for this show, is in a few weeks we're turning the studio into a green room, and we're going to be able to say, hey, turn your background off, and it'll literally, the show will look like we're sitting next to each other.
Awesome.
But over the Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. Which is
and
super
then
cool.
So you can
That's
bring
what my team's working on right now.
50 audience members in, and then everyone shows up, and so, right. I mean, we're not far away from any of that.
Absolutely. I think it's super cool. I get so excited about the future and all those other things. Now, I think we're going to have adoption of 3.0 at a really rapid pace, right? And I don't even not sure that this is 3.0. It might be 4.0 in reality, right? Because blockchain's been around now for 15 years, 12 years at least. And a lot of this is built on blockchain technology, decentralization, keeping track of the assets and where things were throughout the process. So I understand that 3.0 is the right term today, but it feels like we skipped a little bit of a step there. Today, Web 2.0 has been around 15, 16 years, 17 years, right? MySpace is, I don't even know how old that was. That would be a Web 2.0 feature. And today still I hear TikTok ads don't work, Facebook ads don't work. I can't manage my company on those things. Oh, I don't need those things. And I feel like we're going to hear those things about Web 3.0 and the metaverse and the virtual reality things. Do you even argue with those people, or do you just go, okay, have a great day and keep moving on with your life? Or do you try to engage and explain that they're just not understanding something?
A little bit of both, right? I mean, we definitely, we understand the frustration that companies can have in terms of immediacy. They want their ads to be clicked on, but we know that your ads are probably not going to be clicked on. The click-through rate is not strong. On TikTok, maybe it's more about the original content that you make, not so much the advertising. We do see when we promote or boost content on social platforms, they get bigger and they have more eyeballs. I think it's a little bit of everything. Again, in the metaverse, if you don't know what you're doing, you could be wasting a lot of money. If you're an early adopter, you could be getting in there quickly and you do know what you're doing. Good for you. It's the same thing with cryptocurrencies, right? The people that bought Bitcoin 2 years ago knew what they were doing. People that are buying it now don't. So I don't ever try and convince people or clients to do things that they're not comfortable doing. Also, because for us as a team, we don't want to partake in something where there's going to be frustration. So, they're either ready to do stuff or they're not, or maybe they're somewhere in the middle and you find what they do want to do. There are companies that do a lot of this very well. There's companies that just blow a lot of money and don't even know that they're failing at it miserably.
Yeah, and you can, I mean, I've had some catastrophic failures on advertising online. I've lost $50,000 in a night before pretty quickly when I was younger. It can happen if you don't know what you're doing, or you get overconfident, right? For me, it was just, hey, everything was going really good. I took the budget off and went to sleep, right? I woke up the next morning and Google was so happy that I removed that budget. that they ran with it. So there's those easy mistakes that you can make, and people get bitter about their mistakes. I'm a huge advocate on the social media platforms for original content, specifically for brick and mortar companies, that they should be doing videos and things like that, highlighting employees, highlighting customers, all of those things inside the business. And the companies that I've worked with that enable that mentality don't even buy ads anymore on social media.
Yeah, you don't need to if you're making, I mean, again, there's a couple ways to go about it. You can have your little 23, 24-year-old social media person running around doing stuff and creating things, and that works for a lot of places. If you're a little bit bigger, you've got your 3 or 4 person team. If you're even bigger, you've got your marketing team, your social team, your PR team, and
right.
Correct. And then you can put a little bit of money behind it, or maybe you pay influencers, or you pay celebrities, or you boost it, or you advertise it, or you promote it. There's a lot of different things. But yeah, I can't think of one company that's not doing anything. And if you do, right, you've seen it probably. You go to their Instagram, like, oh my God, they haven't updated this in 3 months. Or their Facebook page is just, it's got 2 likes on it. Or they don't have Twitter, or so that to me is very bizarre. That's something, it's a very easy fix. It's like, we've got different clients that do different things for retail. We have a client that does music, background music for stores, restaurants, spas, hotels, and bars. They're like Spotify for business. Right. And they're always like, think about it. If you walk into a business and there's no music, or think about it, you walk into a business and there's no lights or no shelves, or they don't have a floor. They paid someone to do the floor. They paid someone they're paying to turn the lights on. They're paying someone to clean the place. Well, you're paying for music now. So everything matters.
And you have to pay for the music.
You have to pay for the music. It's illegal. If you are in a restaurant or a hotel or a spa or a bar I mean, you don't even realize it when most sports bars that they're playing UFC or the NFL, they've signed a big contract with DirecTV or Ticket or the cable companies. Some bars are paying $25,000 to show a fight because they know the DirecTV or pay-per-view knows, okay, you're selling $10,000 worth of beer, $10,000 worth of tequila, and 300 hamburgers. Let's go, because we're bringing everyone to the fight,
right? Because they're bringing the people in. Is that episode? I just want, because I've been in trouble for this twice in my life. Once, the second time was absolutely totally not my fault. I was a franchisee, and my franchisor stopped paying the ASCAP fees and failed to tell me.
Okay.
Right. The ASCAP settlement was fantastic. They're like, yeah, we understand what happened, and I just paid the fees, and it was fine. But the fines on that are pretty significant if you don't do it. So
and there isn't,
your business owner out there, you're doing it, stop.
There's really not like a music police out there, which is a shame because, right, I mean, I don't think anybody here is shedding a tear for Kanye West or Limp Bizkit or Ariana Grande that they're, someone's playing their music for free. But there are musicians out there that aren't getting a cut. So McDonald's or Starbucks might be using music and you're bopping around in Starbucks and you're ordering an extra latte because the music's jamming or you're going to hang out. And then there's some guitarist who's got his music playing in a coffee shop and nobody's paying him.
And on the combat sports side, I'm wildly familiar. I own a boxing school, so I know a lot of MMA fighters and boxers and stuff like that. On the high side, they're paid very well. But just because they're on TV doesn't mean they're millionaires.
Right.
Right. So if you're stealing that content, in a lot of cases, you're stealing from somebody that's not a millionaire, especially in the combat sports arena.
We seed product to celebrities on behalf of brands. And I think the brands are always in shock that, like, when we get a celebrity to do something for a brand and we pay them, they're like, wait, what? Why are they doing that for, X amount of money? And I'm like, not every celebrity is Tom Cruise. Not everybody has hundreds of millions of dollars. Some people they haven't filmed a movie in a year, or during COVID, they weren't doing TV. So they need this $10,000 or $7,000, or they want the free trip.
Yes, absolutely. And just on those, just ask, right? I mean, just ask as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So let's go back to content for a second, since I think this is a huge problem. Last year, I talked to about 1,000 business owners about social media and what their problem was. And the number one thing that they all said was, I don't know what to post. So I actually launched a site last month called Fix My Social, where I'm giving the world a year free content, 3 posts per day. It's not the greatest content in the world, but it's, the National Apple Day, all that stuff. So they have something to post, to kind of push back on, do your in-house content, but here's something that you don't look dead, right? So that when somebody walks in, they're not blowing dust off the shelves for you. You have something in the meantime. Now, on social media, there's a time to boost, there's a time to run an ad, and there's a time to just let it grow organically within your base, right? When should I boost a post? Like, what kind of content should
question. I have an exact perfect answer for that. We boosted a post last week for a client, a CEO and founder who's looking to not in a shallow way grow their following and get more followers. They just want to reach more people, to spread their message, to bring more money in. I get it. I'm like, I'm all for that. Good for you. Taking the initiative. Like, this isn't a joke. You pay us. We come to work every day. We want to do the best we can. You want to spend money on marketing. Let's do it. So this person boosted, and on average, we looked, they gain around 15 followers a week. They gained 80 that week off of a boost. Okay. It was about $100 to boost it in 3 or 4 cities. Now, the average likes on this person's social, I think, is like 200 or 300, and this one got like 400. So it wasn't about necessarily the likes, but they did see 4x or 5x return in the amount of people that are following them. So they spend another $100 next week. And so those numbers are going to start to go. And so you say when to boost, now's the time to boost. If you're serious, if you have the money to spend, boost it now. You'll get more followers, more exposure. You can target, you can target where you want. Maybe you're looking to bring people into the boxing gym or the fighting gym, and you need people in this area over here because you've already got everyone over here. So you boost it over there. Or you're in New York and you want people from downtown to come to your Upper East Side place. You do it there. So now there's never a bad time. Like you said, you set your Google ads and you went to sleep. Well, they took it, $50,000 worth. So sometimes it's while you sleep. Sometimes it's when you wake up. You got to know your brand and know the best insights, whether it's morning or afternoon. We talk about this all the time. The insights say should go at 3:30, but we know that doesn't make sense. There's no way. It's got to be 5 o'clock. So we fight with that sometimes.
Yeah, I run social media. Well, I don't. The staff member does for a local pizza shop. And, it's very important that post goes out at 11:30 for the lunch coupon. It's very important it goes out at, 5:45 so that they're picking it up when they're sitting in traffic.
That's awesome. I get that.
Right? They're sitting in traffic, scrolling on their phone, and they order it right then. So the timing is important, and the algorithm doesn't necessarily give you the best time for what you're doing, and that's why human interaction is important. Now, I have more eyeballs on my let's just use Facebook as the catalyst for all social media, right? 'Cause at the end of the day, it's all about the same kind of psychology, I think. I've got a bigger following on Facebook now. How does that make me money?
Well, you can shop and there's stores, and first of all, just noise and quantity, right? I mean, the more people that are looking, again, if you're the pizza shop and you've got 7,000 people on Facebook, that your answer is right there. That's you, because if you target to those 7,000 people versus you've only got 1,000 on Instagram, you target to those 1,000, you have a 7x probability of reaching more people on Facebook. I think it's a good question, because I think a lot of founders or owners are looking for those simple answers, because these guys are bottom line, return on investment, and I don't always know that there is a simple answer, right? So we've got clients that win awards. They are named onto lists. They end up on magazine covers. They are accepted onto platforms. A lot of that is based on how many followers do you have? What's your engagement like? So maybe in that moment, you didn't make more money off of the boost of the promotion, but it got you to that level that somebody says, ooh, we like them because they've got 15,000 followers. Let's give them the award because they can share it to more people. Let's bring them onto our platform to speak because they're bigger. Everything counts. And I'm always telling this to our clients, like, let's not look at tomorrow's results from what we did yesterday. Let's look back in 6 months and say, remember when we did that? That got us this, and this got us that, and that got us this. Everything matters. You're not going to get on Fox News or Bloomberg tomorrow if you've never done any TV. So we got to do local TV. Local TV may say, well, has he ever done TV before? No, but he's done this podcast and this YouTube channel. Look, he's very good. He can do it. Okay, we'll take him.
Right.
Maybe the podcaster's like, is he sound? Can we practice before? Sure. He did this radio spot. Like, it all weaves together. So
Yes.
to answer your question, everything matters. It may not make you that immediate money, but I do believe that if all properly planned out and executed and there is a strategy, that at the end of the year, you will be able to look back and say, we did the right things.
Right. I advise almost every small business owner that I talk to, from, I'm working with a guy right now that's starting a scrap pickup business all the way up to Fortune 500 companies, right? I've got at least one Fortune 10 company.
Nice.
Right now. I tell them all minimum to at least do a $5 a day like campaign to their audience in their local community. Is that good advice or substandard advice?
Well, back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago,
and be active on the platforms, right?
Yeah.
Not just spend $5 a day, $300 a month for that like campaign, but to actually be active in some way.
Back in the day, we had a AI system that was doing that for some clients, where it was just going through and liking people in the community. So, but you don't know what it's liking, and you have to be very careful. You could end up liking things that aren't good for your brand. I do think that having a spend in the community in any way you can on any platform to do anything is important. There are some of these companies that are sitting on mounds and mounds of money, and they're just waiting for the right person to tell them the right thing to do with it. You can't go to them and say, hey, buy $25,000 worth of ads here, because they're just like, we don't believe in that. But if you can show them there's different things that they can do to boost engagement locally in the community, giving back, getting press, donate, there's so many things. So yeah, I don't have a problem with all those kind of spends, and setting things to be automatically aggregating for you, and bringing in likes and followers, and putting out likes, and making sure there's an engagement. Yeah, you should be doing all that, especially if you can. If you're struggling with the budget and you don't have it, maybe there's other ways to get creative.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a perfect example, by the way. I was just going to say, like on LinkedIn, for instance, when I'm promoting a job, when I want to hire somebody, similar to you, not in the 50,000 range, but I'll promote it. And next thing I know, it's been $700. I'm like, oh crap. I do that 10 times a year. That's $7,000 in promotion of trying to find people, that
Indeed is really good at taking your money there.
Yeah. But so LinkedIn too. And it's like, to get 25 resumes or 30 resumes, I just spent $700.
Right.
But it was necessary. How else was I going? And I've found people on those platforms, so I look at it as money well spent.
I mean, to hire a recruiter, you're going to spend 3 to 10% of their annual income to get really great talent. So,
correct.
Yeah, I think that's another interesting concept. I think the world at large believes, or most people I think believe, that marketing is only to sell you something, but you got to market your business to get employees. In some cases, and I've taken over some failing businesses in my life, I've had to market to vendors to even do business with us.
Wild.
Right? Because, that company didn't pay me for this before, right? And that's another marketing campaign or public relations campaign that you have to do, even sometimes, to get a vendor to provide services for you. So yeah, I agree. Everything is important there.
Now more than ever, it's harder to get employees to not only want to come work for you, but to retain them. And so what businesses are doing. Okay, you can work remote. Okay, yes, you can have the 14th Friday off of every second month with whatever it is. There's all this craziness and chaos going on. And now I've got people coming back to me when you make them an offer, they're sending me these questions. And it used to be, they send you one follow-up question. You can tell they went and they spoke to their dad, and their dad said, say this. But now it's like, did you speak to like a civil rights attorney lawyer that told you that I'm violating because and I think it's great. More power to the employees. I wish that when I was that young, that I had lived more of a life less in fear of, my job. I mean, we
had to in the 80s. I mean, there wasn't that many jobs in the 80s.
I didn't take vacations. I was telling somebody the other day, I think I missed weddings, I missed funerals. It was just stapled to my job, to my desk, make sure that they didn't fire me, do everything I could to get a promotion. And that was that. Nowadays, it's, they're taking they're putting in for their Christmas vacation in February. They're locking that date down.
Yeah.
But
I had a conversation yesterday in Facebook, and since we're on this topic, I want to dive in, and we've got about 10 minutes, and I think we could probably eat 10 minutes with this topic. It was a guy saying, hey, I'm going for a job interview tomorrow. How do I answer the question, how much do you want to make? And he said, I don't want to undervalue myself or anything like that. And my response was, you're never going to get paid your value, and your hourly rate has nothing to do with your human value. It has to do with the tasks that need to be done and what the value of those tasks are. And I'm frustrated today with a lot of the youth making that determination that, oh, my hourly rate is what you're valuing me at. And that's not the case at all, at least from my mind. And they're not taking into account the education and the opportunities that they might be getting. And that scares me a little bit, right? Because there was a time that I told my boss, my mentor, I'm like, I can go to McDonald's and make more than I'm making right now. And he goes, then you should. And call me in 5 years and tell me how that went.
Yeah.
Right? I'd still be at McDonald's.
Yeah, I agree on that wholeheartedly. Get patience. Like you're gonna, if you're young and you're smart and you're hungry, you're gonna make a lot of money in your career, but you've got to make sure you find the right path and the right mentors. I've seen so many people make wrong decisions. Literally, I saw them when I was younger. I watched bosses of mine, like, why are they leaving this job to go over there? That's a horrible company. Why are they giving up this job to go do this? Or why do they never ask for a raise or a promotion? So you're watching as your career is kind of going like this, and you're watching other people either plateau or go like this. And it's decisions, it's greed, it's poor decision making, poor performance, laziness, whatever it may be. Yes, I do believe that there are companies out there that can pay you more. I don't necessarily know that you're gonna get the training or the quality of work-life balance maybe that your other company will give you. It's also a marathon, not a sprint. The 10,000 extra dollars you're going to make in 2022 doesn't really mean that much over the course of your 40 years in business, if it means you can make $100,000 more in 2 years because you stayed, right? So you got to think about that too. I mean, I know everyone's got to pay their bills, and I'm not going to tell anyone how to live their life, but I do think everyone needs to take a chill on the job market right now and just realize that there's so much more than just you get an extra 5 days day off or they're giving you an extra day of remote. If that is what's important to you, go for it. But I do think also companies will work with you. Tell them what you want. Tell them what the other place is willing to give you. We'll meet you halfway or all the way. Depends how awesome you are.
Yeah, I think at least now, post-pandemic, managers, HR people, bosses, whatever you want to call them, are more open to different kind of structures, right?
Yes.
Which is great, and it leads for more flexibility moving forward. But some of the narratives, I scratch my head and I get a little nervous because entry-level jobs are just going to go away, right?
Yeah.
Because we're just going to automate them 100% away. If we can't find labor to do them, then they will be automated away. And I fear a world where there's no bottom rung.
Yeah.
Right? If there's no bottom rung, then I never get my start, right? Nobody puts me in that position to let me learn about the business and learn how to do these things. And that's a scary world for me moving forward. I kind of see that happening today.
Yeah, and also really quickly, I'll just add with remote, we've had this conversation before. We have a hybrid work situation in our office where some days we're home, some days we're in the office, mostly in the office, but we're actually at home today because there was COVID in the office from somebody, not on our team, but so we wanted to make sure everyone kind of took a break and regrouped so we don't have it go through our office. But imagine you're a 25-year-old or 24-year-old kid and you are remote and you've never met your team. You've never met the VP, you never met the director of sales, you never met the head of marketing, and you're at your company for a year or two, and the VP of marketing gets a job offer from Amazon to go be the senior vice president, right? If they've never met you, they're not grabbing you and saying, that person's awesome. We went out to happy hour together. They stayed after work. I mean, they're not taking you. You're not getting grabbed. Most of my jobs came from someone working with me and knowing me and saying, come with me. Even my company right now, I was able to start it because a friend of mine who had worked with me that I had known from work said, I'm going to be your first client when you start your PR firm. So they knew from me being out in the office that would happen. So if you are working remote all of the time and you never have anybody that grabs onto you or that you can latch onto, you may be staying where you are for a very long time versus quickly hopping around because people are constantly fighting to have your talent.
And if you're able to do your job 100% remote, I believe there's a strong possibility, not in all cases, but a strong possibility that it'll be automated away.
It's very possible. Like you were, there's just so many things that are more and more being automated or remote. I mean, even just today, lunch was ordered from Uber Eats. I didn't go there. And so maybe a robot made my sandwich, maybe a robot car, self-driving, and then it delivered it to my place. And I don't know that the human impact of point of contact was completely taken away. I never left my home.
Yeah. It's insane. So I think the future is super exciting and a little bit scary at the same time. So, we're just going to ebb and flow through this thing and see what ends up happening. I'm super excited that we have all this new technology, a little bit scared of it on what's going to happen to humanity. I kind of lean on Musk's world of, I think everybody's going to have a living wage, because I just don't know how it's going to be otherwise. Right. And I lean more conservative, but I think I don't see another outcome in reality. So awesome. Jared, thank you for your time today. I had such a good time talking with you.
Awesome.
It's been a lot of fun. If somebody wanted to work with you, how would they get a hold of you?
I think go to our Instagram @TheTagExperience. Look at what we do. You can also go to our website, www.thetagexperience.com. A lot of our work is out there on all of our social media channels. We push everything out there so you can see the type of clients we work with and the type of work that we do for them.
Awesome.
And I'm at Jarshap,
if there's a kid out there,
JARSHAP.
Okay. And if there's a kid out there that wants to, get into marketing, get into PR, wants to start their own firm, or they're working at another company today, what advice do you have to tell that person? Make sure you cross X, Y, or Z before you get started.
Yeah, two things. Number one, hustle. It's like you got to have that drive in you. Number two, I think connections are so important. Who do you know? Where can you go? Can you go to the happy hour? Can you go to the free breakfast? Can you go meet people, shake their hands, go introduce yourself to someone? I've been keeping names in my phone for as long as phones existed. People that I had my internships with 30 years ago, 25 years ago. We're friends on Facebook. We follow each other on Instagram. We see each other on LinkedIn. We're all super connected. I think relationships and communication is super important.
What do you tell the kid that says, I don't want to pitch services to my friends and family?
That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, listen, I didn't do a lot of that. It can be done. You can, I think also I made a very good career and name for myself in my business world so that I didn't need a lot of anything from anyone. I'm very proud of I always say I'm 45 now. I'm always very proud of 22 and 23-year-old Jared. I went out to Los Angeles on my own. I moved to New York on my own.
Right.
So I built that network from the ground floor. But I also see a lot of people that come through our doors that do have friends and family that are helping them out as early stage founders, right? They raised $500,000 from friends and family. Lucky you. I'd like that. I'd like friends and family to do that for me. I didn't need it, but certainly awesome. So you can go either way. There are going to be people that have that and good for them. And maybe I'm jealous, but then you don't, but it's not necessary. You can go out on your own and meet fine people without it.
That's it for today's show, folks. If you'd like to join my text line community, the number is 314-370-2871. All you have to do to join that text line is send me any question about business or technology. I'll do all the research and I'll give you an absolutely free, totally unbiased answer. Get to work.